Good afternoon and welcome once again to Sunday Sessions with me, Leigh Perry. I'm with you until 6. We're live from Touchwood. You're listening to Solihull Radio.
On Solihull Radio.
I was walking down the street, concentrating on trucking right. I heard a dark voice beside of me, and I looked round in a state of fright. I saw 4 faces, one man, a brother from the gutter. They looked me up and down a bit and turned to each other. I say, I don't like cricket. looking at my silver chain. He said, I'll give you $1. I said, you got to be joking, man. It was a present from my mother. He said, I like it, I want it, I'll take it off your hands and you'll be sorry. You cross me, you better understand that you're alone. A long way from home. And I say, I don't like reggae. No, no. I love it. Hey, I don't like reggae. I love it. Hey, don't you whack me style, don't you queer me bitch, don't you walk through my words, 'cause you ain't heard me out yet. I hurried back to the swimming pool, sinking pina colada. I heard a dark voice beside me say, would you like something harder? She said, I got it, you want it, my harvest is the best, and if you try it, you'll like it, and wallow in a dreadlock holiday. And I say, don't like Jamaica. Oh no, I love her. Hey, don't like Jamaica. Oh no, I love her. Oh yeah. Don't you walk through my words, got to show some respect. Don't you walk through my words, 'cause you ain't heard me out yet. I don't like cricket. Oh no, I love it. Dreadlock holiday. I don't like reggae. Oh no, I love it. Dreadlock holiday. Don't like Jamaica. Hey, I love her.
Solihull Radio.
That was 10cc with Dreadlock Holiday. Hello, it's Sunday once again, and I'm with you for the next 2 hours. I've got some fabulous music lined up this afternoon with everything from Tom Walker to the Specials and Robert Palmer to Madness. Got a bit of everything for you today. Also with me in the studio, back from Christmas and New Year break, we've got Arushi Sharma, assistant producer here, and she's going to be giving us the lowdown of what's going on around about and in the region. Plus, of course, a little bit later on, I've got a guest right here in the studios at Solihull Radio, and that is Ian Day, local man with his fascinating story to tell. You can get in touch with us. I'll tell you how to do that in a short while. First of all, just a little bit more music, and this is a bit of Britney Spears.
I supposed to know that something wasn't right here. Oh, baby, baby, I shouldn't have let you go. And now you're right outside.
Leigh Perry on Solihull Radio.
I close my eyes and I can see a world that's waiting up for me, that I call my own. Through the dark, through the door, through where no one's been before, but it feels like home. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say I've lost my mind. I don't care if they call me crazy. We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. There's a house we can build. Every room inside is filled with things from far away. Special things I compile, each one there to make you smile on a rainy day. They can say it all sounds crazy. They can say we've lost our minds. See, I don't care if they call us crazy. Run away to a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make. However big, however small, let me be part of it all. Share your dreams with me. We may be right, we may be wrong, but I wanna bring you along to the world I see, to the world we close our eyes to see. We close our eyes to see. Every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. A million dreams for the world we're gonna make. For the world we're gonna make.
Leigh Perry on Solihull Radio.
That was Pink and A Million Dreams from, of course, The Greatest Showman. So it is just 16:17 and I'm going to be with you until 6 o'clock this evening. You're listening to Solihull Radio. We are online and on demand. In just a few minutes, I'll be talking to my guest. That is Ian Day, who's got quite an amazing story to tell, actually. If you would like to get in touch with us, if you've got either questions for Ian or if you've got a music request maybe, or a happy birthday or a shout out for somebody, then get in touch. You can call us here at the studio on 0121 70 40 185. You can text in on 075 64 30 30 64. Of course, you can email us on studio@solihullradio.com. So yeah, please do get in touch. Right, a bit more music first of all before I have a chat to Ian. This is, I think, one of the nominations for the Brits. The Brits are coming round yet again, about 5 weeks to go for those. This is Clean Bandit, one of my favourite tracks from them, and this is called Rockabye.
Call it love and devotion. Call it a mom's adoration. Foundation, a special bond of creation. Ha! For all the single moms out there going through frustration. Clean Bandit, China Ball, and Marie thing make them air.
She works the nights by the water. She's gone astray, so far away from her father's daughter. She just wants a life for a baby. All on her own, no one will come. She's got to save him.
Daily struggle.
She tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you.
Stay up there.
She
Stay
tells
up
him
there.
your life ain't gonna be nothing like my life. You're gonna grow and have a good life. I'm gonna do what I got
Stay
to
up there.
do.
Stay up
So
there.
rockabye, baby, rockabye. I'm gonna rock you, rockabye, baby. Don't you cry. Somebody's got you, rockabye, baby, rockabye. I'm gonna rock you, rockabye, baby. Don't you cry. Rockabye. No.
Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye. Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye. Single mom, what you doing out there? Facing the hard life without no fear. Just see and know that you really care. Cause any obstacle come, you well prepare. And no, mama, you never shed tear. Cause you have to set things year after year. And you give the youth love beyond compare. You find the school fee and the bus fare. Or when the pops disappear. In a wrong bar, can't find him nowhere. Steadily your workflow, everything you know. So you not stop, no time for your dear.
Now she got a 6-year-old, trying to keep him warm, trying to keep out the cold. When he looks in her eyes, he don't know he is safe when she says, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you. So rockabye, baby, rockabye. I'm gonna rock you, rockabye, baby. Don't you cry. Somebody's got you, rockabye, baby, rockabye. I'm gonna rock you, rockabye, baby. Don't you cry.
With a bang, bang, bang. Alright then.
No.
Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye. Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye. Rockabye, don't bother cry. Lift up your head, lift it up to the sky, yo. Rockabye, don't bother cry. Angels around you, just dry your eye.
Now she got a 6-year-old, trying to keep him warm, trying to keep out the cold. When he looks in her eyes, he don't know he is safe when she says. She tells him, ooh, love, no one's ever gonna hurt you, love. I'm gonna give you all of my love. Nobody matters like you.
Stay up there,
She
stay up
tells him
there.
your life ain't gonna be nothing like my life.
Jay.
You're gonna grow and have a good life. I'm gonna do what I got to do. So rockabye, baby, rockabye.
Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye.
You rockabye, baby, don't you cry.
Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye.
You rockabye, baby, rockabye.
Rockabye, rocka, rocka, rockabye.
You rockabye, baby, don't you cry.
With a bang, bang, bang. Alright then. Rockabye, don't bother cry. Lift up your head, lift it up to the sky, yo. Rockabye, don't bother cry. Angels around you,
Perry on Solihull Radio.
The second someone mentioned you were all alone, I could feel the trouble coursing through your veins. Now I know it's got a hold. Just a phone call left unanswered had me sparking now. These cigarettes won't stop me wondering where you are. Don't let go, keep a hold. If you look into the distance, there's a house upon the hill, guiding like a lighthouse. It's a place where you'll be safe to feel our grace, cause we've all made mistakes. If you've lost your way, yeah, I will leave the light on. Tell me what's been happening, what's been on your mind. Lately you've been searching for a darker place to hide. That's alright, but if you carry on abusing, you'll be robbed from us. I refuse to lose another friend to drugs. Just come home, don't let go. If you look into the distance, there's a house upon the hill, guiding like a lighthouse. It's a place where you'll be safe to feel our grace, cause we've all made mistakes. If you've lost your way, I will leave the light on. I will leave the light on, cause I will leave the light on.
There you go. That was fabulous, Tom Walker and Leave the Light On. It's 5 weeks until this year's Brits, and the nominations are out. Tom Walker's one of those nominations, and I previously, just before that, played Clean Bandit. Both of those acts are Brit nominations this year for British Single, and Tom Walker is been nominated for Breakthrough Act. So good luck to both of those. I've got my usual mix of music coming up this afternoon. I've got some rock, some reggae, some pop and some country, and if you've got any requests and you want to get in touch with us, then do so. You can text us on 075 64 30 30 64, and you can email us studio@solihullradio.com. I've had a request come in for Richie Sampson, the amazing Richie, and his band The Soul Kind of Wonderful. Play something a little bit later on for you, Richie, but right now here in the studio, here live at Solihull Radio, is my guest Ian Day. Just a little bit of background. Welcome, Ian, first of all.
Here.
Are you okay?
Yeah, really well. Thanks for inviting me in. It's lovely to be here.
Good. Welcome to the studios here in Touchwood. A little bit of background. So, Ian, you won't mind me saying your age. You're 52 years old. Married, you've got one daughter, and you can take over the story. It's quite an amazing story. I know a little bit about it, but I have to say, until I read your blog, I didn't know half of what had happened to you, and we're going back just almost 2 years, I think.
Yeah, so this was
over to you.
March 2017. So I went to a sports class that I'd been to for the last couple of years, sort of regular class that I went to, but I felt perfectly all right, and apparently, because this is all reported secondhand from my friends and things that were there. Towards the end of the class, I just collapsed. I just collapsed on the floor. My arms fell to the side. I just collapsed onto the floor, and luckily enough, 3 of the guys there knew how to do CPU because my heart had stopped. So they took it in turns to do CPR, the resuscitation, and called an ambulance, and the ambulance arrived, but my heart had stopped for 20 minutes and I'd had a cardiac arrest. So luckily enough, I was taken to Heartlands Hospital, but I was in a coma for 17 days. They said they could fix my heart, which was the easy bit, through a triple bypass, but they weren't too certain because my brain had been starved of oxygen, how severe the brain damage would be, and they didn't know whether I'd ever recover, or if I did recover, whether I'd ever live an independent life. Luckily, as you can hear me and see, I did recover.
Yes,
but I was quite staggered to find out that the stats about people that have cardiac arrests outside hospital, it's only a 10% survival rate. So there's around about 30,000 people that have cardiac arrests each year, according to the British Heart Foundation. But there's only 10% survival rate, which is really quite shocking, actually. And I look back at obviously what happened to me, and I was one in 10. Plus, I had the brain injury that I might never have recovered from. And luckily, over the last 2 years, I was able to make a full recovery.
So you, as a career, you're an executive coach.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you do and what that involves.
So that's working with people on a one-to-one basis to help them achieve their goals, to be more effective in whatever form that they might define that. So I've worked in business for all my career, and I worked in human resources, and I had an executive coach to help me as I was promoted to take on the responsibilities of that. And then I became qualified. I studied to become qualified and went out to work independently as a coach. So it's working very much to help people achieve their maximum potential in organisations or in life in general.
Okay, so leading up to this, so when did this actually happen? This was what, March
2017 was the cardiac arrest.
2017.
Yeah.
So prior to that, you hadn't had any signs or anything, any kind of factors that made you think there was something wrong?
The only thing I had was I was diagnosed as being asthmatic, and that was probably a few years before the cardiac arrest. And I think reflecting back, that was probably actually masking some of the symptoms, because since I've had my triple heart bypass, I haven't had any of my asthma inhaler. So I think it really was masking the symptoms. The lack of breath and not being able to breathe was something going on with my heart.
Something different, and nobody picked up on that.
No, because I'd been to see a cardiologist before, because at one point my heart was beating quite quickly. And I thought this wasn't right. And I had my heart scanned, and he said, no, the heart is absolutely fine. But what couldn't happen, they couldn't see the arteries that were leading into the heart.
Yeah.
And you can only do that with an angiogram, and there's a 1% risk of a heart attack if you have an angiogram. So they thought the risk is just too great, we won't do that. We'll just take it from the scan. But it didn't pick up that my arteries were blocked. And that was the thing that led to the cardiac arrest.
Goodness me. So you'd gone to the gym,
yeah.
you say, okay. And so it just happened there and then.
Yeah.
Very, very sudden. And you were taken into hospital, and then you say it was 17 days.
17 days in a coma. Yeah, that's right.
Good grief.
So it was luckily I was in Heartlands Hospital, and they were absolutely fantastic. So I was in intensive care, and they were absolutely marvelous. So I was lucky on a number of points. When I first went into hospital, the on-call doctor was a cardiologist, so he was able to figure out what was going on, and at one point they didn't know whether it was the problem with the brain that had caused the issue or whether it was the heart. So it was a bit difficult to diagnose what the actual problem was. But once they figured out that it was the heart, then they inserted a stent to open one of the arteries up, so at least I could get some blood supply through the heart, and that stabilised it. But again, it was the brain injury that was the issue, and it was almost like I'd been reset to about the age of 2, because I couldn't recognise my wife or daughter. I thought home was where I lived with my mum and dad and my brother, where I was brought up.
Really?
I didn't know what to. I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know how to walk. It was almost like I had to learn all of those things again.
Starting all over again. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, Ian, you're staying with me for the show, so we can talk about what happened. You know, how when you came round and more about what happened then. Just going to play a bit more music. What are your music? You like music, don't you? We've talked about it before we came on air. What kind of thing do you like? Or is it everything?
Well, it's the sort of 1980s. That's my era of music. So it's the 1980s music, but I like. I suppose it's like post-punk music. So a bit of the Cure, a bit of the Clash, those sort of things.
All sorts. Okay, I've got a bit of all sorts this afternoon. I've got some madness.
Oh yeah,
a bit of madness going on right now. This is Embarrassment. We'll come back and have a bit more of a chat with Ian in a couple of minutes.
Received a letter just the other day. Don't seem to wanna know you no more. I've laid it down, given you the score. Within the first 2 lines it must be read. You're not to come see us no more. Keep away from our door. Don't come round here no more. What on earth did you do that for? Our aunt, she don't wanna know. She says, what will the neighbours think? They'll think we don't, that's what they'll think. We don't, but I will, 'cause I know they think I don't. Our uncle, he don't wanna know. He says, we are disgrace to the human race. He says, how can you show your face when you're a disgrace to the human race? You're an embarrassment. Yes, an embarrassment, a living endorsement. The intention that you have booked was an intention that was overlooked. They say stay away, don't want you home today. Keep away from our door. Don't come round here no more. Our dad don't wanna know. He says this is a serious matter. Too late to reconsider. No one's gonna wanna know ya. Our mum, she don't wanna know. She says I'm feeling twice as old. She said thought she had her head on her shoulder. 'Cause I'm feeling twice as older. I'm feeling twice as older. You're an embarrassment.
Solihull Radio.
There we go, a bit of manners for you this Sunday afternoon. So with me is Ian Day, and we're just talking about his incredible experience really a couple of years ago when totally out of the blue had a cardiac arrest. And we were just saying, Ian, that you were then in a coma for 17 days. And just off air, I mean, I obviously know you because your daughter comes to the music school for lessons. So you also know that my husband, who teaches Freya, has had sepsis twice in the last 3 years. And we were just talking about the effects of the people around you. So quite true, actually. I didn't think you were in a coma, but you're in a coma, you're not aware of that, but your wife is and your daughter is. So how did it affect them?
Well, it was absolutely massive. And to a certain extent, I think I had it easy because I was in a coma and I didn't know anything about it. So I just, for me, I was just asleep. But for them, they were living it every single day. So
Absolutely.
It was like, I think they did incredibly well, and I'm so proud of them. I love them, and I'm so proud of them because of what they did. But it was the trauma and the shock and the surprise, because I just left to go to my sports club, and I just said, bye, I'm off, I'll see you at 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I just didn't return it, and no. It was the complete shock that I'd been taken ill, but also it was a real life-threatening situation that I might not recover from the heart attack, and if I did recover, I might be permanently brain damaged and not be able to live independently or recognise them again. So they had a terrible time when I was in intensive care, and would I wake up, would I not wake up? And they went through the hardest time, and it really is the impact on people around you, and I think they have it harder than the actual patients in a way. I know that sounds strange, but because they're living it and they're aware of it, and it really does have an impact.
And the thing is, when you are a family member and you've got to carry on, life carries on, so you've got to go to work, or if you've got animals, you've got to look after the animals, or if you've got other siblings or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you're almost on autopilot, and the adrenaline's going, and you almost carry on as normal, and you bottle everything up inside. And I think it's after that it hits you, the relief, but also maybe then the stress and everything then comes out.
Yeah.
So you then woke up 17 days later.
Yeah, it was very gradual, and initially my wife kept being told by the doctors and the nurses that your husband's not responding properly, because I didn't show any signs, and so they thought I was completely brain damaged and would never wake up. But Sue was adamant that she would do everything to make sure that I would recover and wake up. And apparently what she did one time was she got her phone, and there was a video of us playing on the beach together a couple of years ago, when the three of us were laughing and spraying water and just paddling and having great fun. And she played the video and put it next to my pillow on one side, and I turned my head very slowly, and I turned my head towards the sound. And the doctors and nurses said, well, that might have been a coincidence. So she put the phone on the other side of the pillow and played it again, and I turned towards that. So there was a reaction there. So that was almost proof to the doctors that I was going to recover. But I had a respirator in my mouth so I could breathe, and the respirator was breathing for me. And apparently, when they tried to remove that, a number of times I didn't respond well, so they put me back into the coma and then tried again the next day. So it took a long time for me to come out of the coma, and I think it's not as if you see it on the movies when somebody wakes up and they start talking and recognising people instantaneously. It's not like that. It's almost like it happened bit by bit. And I woke up and I didn't recognise my daughter, and I didn't recognise my wife. She was the nice lady, and my daughter was the pretty girl, and I hadn't got a clue who they were. And over a period of time, my wife and daughter got a photograph of when we were all on holiday together, of the three of us together, like a selfie. And she wrote our names underneath it. So I knew who Sue was, and I knew who Freya was, because she was just the nice lady and the pretty girl, and that was all I knew. So it takes time, and that's maybe it's different to the movies. It really is, that it just doesn't happen like that. No.
When you did come round and you were out of the coma, do you recall anything from that period of time? So this, when you said that Sue played this recording, and obviously you responded, but you can't recall anything from nothing.
No, nothing. It's I don't. I've spoken to a number of people, and I don't know whether it's because of the brain damage, or whether it was the medication I was on at that point. But some people say that the body has got an amazing way of protecting you from trauma. So it almost like it blocks out your memory. When something's so traumatic, it protects you and it blocks it out. But I was in Heartlands Hospital for 40 days. Then I was transferred to Solihull, and it was only the last maybe week, 10 days in Solihull, that I think I became fully aware. So it was maybe 6 weeks I wasn't aware of anything, and there's some funny stories of things that I apparently did, but it was only in that last week, and then I left Solihull to recover at home before the heart bypass. But other than that, I've got no recollection and no memory of everything. So everything I'm talking about, it's really Sue and Freya's story, and this is why I'm so proud of them, because of all the things they did to help me. Everything I'm talking about is almost like second hand, because I was there, but I wasn't aware
of what was happening. Yeah. So I'm just going to play a bit more music, and then of course you've then come out. We need to talk in a little while. You've come through the trauma, survived that, come out of the coma, but of course you've still got to have the heart bypass.
Yeah.
So there's all that to come, isn't there? Oh, dear me. Right, okay. We'll talk about that in about 3-4 minutes' time. You are listening to Solihull Radio. We're online and on demand. Just going to play a little bit more music. This is Bruno Mars and his track, which is called Perm. It's coming up. It's right here.
Now look at you walking in here looking all pretty and angry and mean and good. I know you didn't get your hair done so you could just sit down and just sit still.
Hey, we trying to have a good time tonight. Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. It's my birthday. No, it's not. But I still look good, though. How come? Ow. I bet you want an autograph. For you and your friends. Gotta do it in the penthouse. That's why I came up in. What you can't dance, ain't got rhythm. What you got a man? I don't see you with him. Put your phone down, let's get it. Forget your Instagram and your Twitter. Got me like, whoa, wait a minute. You need to take a minute. Loosen them shoulders up, pull it up, let's work. Throw some perm on your attitude. Girl, you gotta relax. Ooh. Let me show you what you got to do. You gotta lay it back. Matter of fact, bang, show how to lay it back. Show how to lay it back. Show how to lay it back. Ow! Show how to lay it back. Alright! Come on, baby, I love you. No, you don't. You never know I might, though. Can't say I won't. There's that smile I'm looking for. Was that so hard? If you ever need a smile again, girl, take my card. Razzle dazzle, never gonna stop. What you want is what I got. You wanna get down, you gotta get up. Don't be stingy with your big old butt. You got a booty like, whoa, wait a minute. I'm just playing with you. Loosen them shoulders up, pull it up, let's work. Throw some perm on your attitude. Girl, you gotta relax. Ooh. Let me show you what you got to do. You gotta lay it back. Matter of fact, bang, show how to lay it back. Show how to lay it back. Show how to lay it back. Ow! Show how to lay it back. Alright! Hey, now you got it, baby. You trying to have some fun tonight? You just gotta follow these simple instructions. You ready? You need to activate your sex. Activate your sex. Silky smooth and snap. Silky smooth and snap. Now lean with it. Lean. Throw a little sheen in it. Sheen. Then pat, pat, pat till it's flat. One more time. You need to activate your sex. Activate your sex. Silky smooth and snap. Silky smooth and snap. Now lean with it. Lean. Throw a little sheen in it. Sheen. Then pat, 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 pat till it's flat. I'll sing it again. Throw some perm on your attitude. Woo! Girl, you gotta relax. Ooh, let me show you what you got to do. You gotta lay it back. Matter of fact, bang, show how to lay it back. Show how to lay it back. Show how to lay it back now. Ow! Show how to lay it back right now. Alright.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. Cause I've been blasting and laughing so long that even my mama thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never crossed a man that didn't deserve it. Me be treated like a punk, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how you're talking and where you're walking, or you and your homies might be lined in chalk. I really hate the trip, but I gotta low. As they croak, I see myself in the pistol smoke. Fool, I'm the kind of G the little homies wanna be like, on my knees in the night, saying prayers in the street light. Been spending most their lives living in situation they got me facing. I can't live a normal life. I was raised by the state, so I gotta be down with the hood team. Too much television watching got me chasing dreams. I'm an educated fool with money on my mind. Got my tin in my hand and a gleam in my eye. I'm a loped out gangster, set tripping banker, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Fool, death ain't nothing but a heartbeat away. I'm living life, do or die. What can I say? I'm 23 now, but will I live to see 24? The way things is going, I don't know. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Power and the money, money and the power. Minute after minute, hour after hour, everybody's running, but half of them ain't looking what's going on in the kitchen. But I don't know what's cooking. They say I got to learn, but nobody's here to teach me. If they can't understand it, how can they reach me? I guess they can't, I guess they won't, I guess they front. That's why I know my life is out of luck, fool. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We've been spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. We keep spending most of our lives living in the gangster's paradise. Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me? Tell me why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me?
Solihull Radio.
That last track was Gangster's Paradise. You're listening to Solihull Radio. We are online and on demand. And with me this afternoon, back from Christmas and New Year, it was very lonely last week, is Arushi Sharma. Hi, Arushi.
Hi, Leigh. How are you?
I'm fine, you?
I'm good, thank you. How was your Christmas?
Yeah, it was good. It seems like ages since I've seen you, but it was so weird last week on my own, no guests. I did have a guest actually on the line, which was really good fun. Right, so you are you're on it for what's happening in and around Solihull, Warwickshire, Birmingham.
Yes.
What have we got?
So, from the 16th of January, the Core Theatre, the Birmingham Hippodrome are putting on a show of Peter Pan, which I think would be amazing because, especially since Christmas is over, there's a lack of, theatre to go see with the family. So I think this would be really great to take your children out to see with.
Brilliant. Okay.
In Mel Square on the 19th of January, there's a fine and local food fair happening. So I think if you're just free on that day, it would be amazing to go and have a taste of what's going on.
Lovely.
And on Saturday the 26th of January, the Core Theatre is holding RESPECT to Aretha, which is, I think, a show starring a powerhouse vocalist named Letitia George, and it's dedicated to Aretha Franklin. So I think it would be really, for those fans of Aretha Franklin out there, I think you should definitely go have a look.
Good idea.
And see what it is.
Good idea. Brilliant. Okay, anything else?
Well, Dodge Music School are starting a family choir on Tuesdays from 6:30 to 7:30, and they'll have a part in the Symphony Hall Fusion and Music and Dance concert happening on the 7th of April, of course. So,
of course, we know all about that one, don't we?
Definitely make your way down.
Yeah, so the choir is it's a family choir. We're only small. We've only got about 9 members at the moment, but we don't want to be big. We want about 20, I would say. I do know a couple of my pupils are involved. I've got a lady and her granddaughter. I've got another lady coming along with her daughter. But we need some men. Ian, can you sing?
No.
Okay. Arushi, can your dad sing?
We can ask.
You could ask, couldn't you? You could ask. Okay, so yeah, that's Tuesday nights at 6:30. That's down at DMS in Knoll on the High Street. And of course, we've got a fusion of music and dance coming up on the 7th of April at Symphony Hall. We can tell you a bit about that. You're rehearsing for that, aren't you?
I am every Saturday with you.
Sounding very good, wasn't it, yesterday?
It's coming along quite well. I'm very happy.
It's coming together. I have to say this year we've got some amazing acts. We've got, of course, co-hosting, playing drums, playing percussion is our patron. That's Mr. Bevan. We have Richie Sampson and the award-winning Soul Kind of Wonderful. I played his one of his original tracks on the show here last week. So he's going to be performing. One of those numbers he's doing is Buttercup, and if you listen to the show or if you want to listen again on Podbean at Solihull Radio, I interviewed Alan Warner. Alan is one of the original members from the Foundations, and of course Buttercup was their hit, so he's coming along to Symphony Hall to take part and perform that. We've got the incredible, I've just been talking to you Ian off air, Mr. Angelo Starr. He really is a star, incredible voice. Of course, the brother of the late and great Edwin Starr. So he's going to be performing at Symphony Hall. He's doing a Stevie Wonder track, a bit of a Bruno Mars mashup at the end of the night. We've got Destiny Africa flying over from Kampala to join the choirs, and it's going to be a complete eclectic mix of music. So we've got everything from pop to rock to classical. It's going to be a really, really good night. So you can get your tickets directly from DMS. Just call us on 01564 772831. Anything else, Arushi? Anything going on? Is that it for now?
That is it for now. But for Strictly fans out there, their tour is starting in Birmingham on the 18th of January.
Oh,
it's promised to be music and amazing live music and amazing choreography, an evening of glitz, glamour and magic, as said on the website. So
sounds brilliant. That's great. Thanks for that. Okay, talking again to Ian in just a couple of minutes about his progress over the last couple of years.
sit and wait. Does an angel contemplate my fate? And do they know the places where we go when we're gray and old? 'Cause I have been told that salvation lets their wings unfold. So when I'm lying in my bed, thoughts running through my head, and I feel that love is dead, I'm loving angels instead. And through it, oh, she offers me protection, a lot of love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. And down the won't break me when I come to call. She won't forsake me. I'm loving angels instead. When I'm feeling weak and my pain walks down a one-way street, I look above and I know I'll always be blessed with love. And as the feeling grows, she breathes flesh to my bones. Oh, when love is dead, I'm loving angels instead. And through it all, she offers me protection, a lot of love and affection, whether I'm right or wrong. And down the waterfall, wherever it may take me, I know that life won't break me when I come to call. She won't forsake me. I'm loving angels instead. Forsake me. I'm loving angels instead.
Leigh Perry on Solihull Radio.
Robbie Williams there with Angels. It is 5 o'clock and we have an hour left to go on the show. Lots of great music coming up. So if you want to get in touch, you know you can do. You can just text us on 075 64 30 30 64 or drop us an email, studio@solihullradio.com. With me in the studio here this afternoon at Touchwood is Ian Day. We've just been talking about the trauma, everything that's happened over the last couple of years. And so Ian, back to you. We got to the point that you'd come out of the coma. You've been in a coma for 17 days.
Yeah.
And it's not as you described it. It's not as you would imagine that you see on the films. It doesn't happen. I suppose everybody's different, aren't they? Anyway.
Yeah, I guess so. And it's just that that really gradual process of me coming round. But at the time, I was quite limited as what I was able to do, so I wasn't able to walk. I couldn't recognise my family. I couldn't eat. I couldn't really function by myself. So it was after I came out of the coma, it was really lots and lots of support to help me to walk, for example. So 2 physios would stand one each side of me to help me walk because I had no balance and couldn't coordinate and things like that. And then it was just understanding what food was. And apparently I had this set answer of I don't know, because people say, are you hungry? And I say, I don't know. Do you want a drink of water? I don't know. And it's the thing that although I felt thirsty, I didn't know what a drink was, and I didn't know what eating was. And it was quite interesting because Sue would show me a photograph of a pizza, and I'd say, oh yes, I'd like one of those. But if anyone said, would you like a pizza? I'd say, I don't know, because I didn't know what the word pizza meant. But if I saw a picture of a pizza, I knew that it was something I'd eaten in the past.
That's incredible. So this is because your body was starved of oxygen for 20 minutes? That's the effect. That's the knock-on. It affects your brain, it affects your thought process and everything.
Yeah, so they call it hypoxic brain injury. So it's a brain injury that's caused by starvation of oxygen.
Right.
And it's almost like all those neural networks are severed for some reason. So all those memories that you have and all those things that you take for granted when you're functioning normally, it just doesn't. So the meaning of words like pizza, I just didn't know what the meaning of the word pizza was. I think the only food I remembered and the food that I knew about was custard, because I used to have lots of custard when I was a little boy at my grandma's house.
Okay.
So apparently I knew what custard was, and the nurses would offer me custard, and I would say yes, but if they offered me anything else, I didn't know what it was. So I'd literally say I didn't know. And so they would think I wasn't hungry.
Yeah.
And then my wife would come round and she would show me a photograph and she would put a fork in my hand and I was able to do it. But other than that, it was like relearning everything again. So it was it was a very difficult process
I'll bet.
For Sue and Freya, they experienced that, and Freya particularly saw her father that she'd played with and was almost like a friend be unable to function and not know what my mental ability would be.
Very frightening. Very frightening. But again, probably more so for Sue and Freya than for you, because you don't know what's going on, do you?
That's right. So again, they lived through it. So the trauma of relatives is greater almost.
Arushi, we just in the break while I was playing some music, you had you had a question for Ian.
Yeah. I was asking, how long was it on average do you think that it took you to start engaging with what was going on, like remembering? Was it quite a gradual process, or was it like it was how long did it take? It was really gradual.
It was probably about 5 or 6 weeks until I recognised my wife and daughter would interact, and it was almost like a self-awareness. I was aware of myself, because before then I think my brain was so injured that I don't have any recollection of being sort of me and self-aware. Apparently, my father would come and would come in, and I would recognise him, but that was the only person, and nobody else I did. Although I've been married to my wife for 18 years, and we've been together for 25 years or something like that. I had no recollection, and I think that was the really sad things, that all of those connections in my brain had been severed, and it was almost like the process over time, and it took 5 or 6 weeks for the brain to make those connections again. And it shows what a wonderful thing the brain is to be able to make those connections, but it also shows how fragile it can be as well.
I wonder why you say you recognised your father but not Sue. I wonder why. I know it's a strange question, but it's amazing, isn't it? You'd think you would either not recognise anybody at all.
Well, that's why I think I was almost like reset to when I was a child.
Okay.
So I thought my home was where I grew up with my mum and dad and my brother. So my home was over in Northfield in Birmingham. I didn't realise that I lived in Knoll. And I think it was everything relating to my childhood I still had memories of, and I thought they were current, they were present. But anything else, it wasn't real for me. It was funny.
And in reading your blog, you mentioned that about food, about eating.
Yes.
Your wife was coming in, and you had been telling the nurses and whatever that you weren't hungry, and it was your wife that said, actually, it's because he doesn't know how to eat. Well, surely the staff should know that. Surely they're dealing with people that have been through what you've been through.
Yeah, I think it was difficult for them, and I think the old days where you used to have loads of staff on the ward and they'd be able to have the time to take with patients, it's not there any longer, and they're not able to have that time to do the one-to-one care. So they tried very hard, but my set answer to everything was, I don't know. So they'd say, are you hungry? And I said, I don't know. Would you like to eat a pizza? And I don't know. Because I didn't know what the word hungry meant, and I didn't know what the word pizza meant. But over time, Sue would come in, and her employer was great. She took lots of time off, and she came in day after day after day, and she spent lots of time with me, particularly around about dinner time. And she would make sure that I would eat, and I spent the time eating it, because initially I was really very slow at eating. And the staff would want to take the food away because under health and safety, they thought it had gone cold and it was no good any longer. But I just needed that extra time to eat, and to eat for myself. I think it was better for me to eat slowly for myself rather than somebody else feed me, because I think I just wouldn't have learnt how to do it.
No.
So I think, this thing of the person doing it for themselves is a much better way of doing it, but it takes a lot longer, and the staff in the hospitals don't have the time to do that for themselves.
This is one of the big problems, isn't it? Fascinating. Okay, be back with you in a while. I've got a dedication coming up in about 4 minutes for Richie. Richie, if you're listening this afternoon. First of all, this is one of my favourite bands, the Black Eyed Peas, and this is their track Big Love.
A day in the life of a kid in America. Everyone's a critic, watch them criticize your character. Everybody watching you, people love to stare at you. Everybody's greedy, ain't nobody trying to share with you. Our leaders are embarrassing, I think they need some parenting. Tell me why they playing with the fire and the kerosene. Kids on the Percocet, tripping on the medicine. Call it like I see it, we some drugged up Americans. Everybody's following, ain't nobody leading. People loving guns more than kids is the season. And they say the reason is to protect their freedom, but we don't believe them. Cause all that we are, all that we're made of, big, big love, big, big love. All that we have, all that we're made of, big, big love, big, big love. That's all that we are. That's all that we are. That's all that we are. It's big, big love. It's big, big love. When I was a young boy, used to hear the people say, power to the people, but we them people nowadays, we ain't never giving up. Now we got our hands up, we can't breathe cause their hearts ain't big enough. All we need is just us, hate got you guessing. War is the answer, but really what's the question? Money got us stressing, fear got us flexing, phones got us zoned out. Now we lose connection. Please stand by. It takes you and I to keep the hope alive, cause we're living in a time where you're fighting to survive, and all we need is love. All that we are, all that we're made of, big, big love, big, big love. All that we have, all that we're made of, big, big love, big, big love. That's all that we are. That's all that we are. That's all that we are. It's big, big love. It's big, big love.
Life is a blessing, knowledge is a weapon. You should choose love instead of being reckless. Candle in the darkness, help change the heartless. Use love to guide you, I'll be there regardless. Situation global, we're like in a rowboat, swimming up the river so I can deliver message to the masses. No matter your status, nothing's ever over, we believe in second chances. Many people dying, governments are lying. Stand for our rights and please no more violence. Start with the kindness, together we're united. When we are one, nothing can divide us.
We are. All that we're made of, big, big love, big, big love. All that we have, all that we're made of, big, big love, big, big love. All that we are, all that we're made of, big, big love, big, big love. All that we have, all that we're made of, big, big love, big, big love. That's all that we are. That's all that we are. That's all that we are. It's big, big love. It's big, big love.
Leigh Perry on Solihull Radio.
Okay, this next track, this is for Richie Sampson and Soul Kinda Wonderful. This is Jason Mraz and I'm Yours.
Well, you done me and you bet I felt it. I tried to beat you, but you're so hot that I melted. I fell right through the cracks. Now I'm trying to get back. Before the cool done run out, I'll be giving it my bestest. And nothing's gonna stop me but divine intervention. I reckon it's again my turn to win some or learn some. But I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Well, open up your mind and see like me. Open up your plans and damn, you're free. I look into your heart and you'll find love, 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 and love. Listen to the music of the moment, people dance and sing. We're just one big family, and it's our God-forsaken right to be loved, love, 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 loved. So I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm sure there's no need to complicate. Our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours. Do you? But do you want to come on? I scooch on over closer, dear, and I will nibble your ear. I've been spending way too long checking my tongue in the mirror and bending over backwards just to try to see it clearer. But my breath fogged up the glass, and so I drew a new face and I laughed. I guess what I'll be saying is there ain't no better reason to rid yourself of vanities and just go with the seasons. It's what we aim to do. Our name is our virtue, but I won't hesitate no more, no more. It cannot wait. I'm yours. Open up your mind and see like me. Open up your plans and damn, you're free. I look into your heart and you'll find that the sky is yours. So please don't, please don't, please don't. There's no need to complicate, 'cause our time is short. This is our fate. I'm yours.
Leigh Perry on Solihull Radio.
Solihull Radio.
There you go. That was for you, Richie, and that was Jason Mraz, and I'm yours. So it's just 5:15. Still got some good, some great music to come up, actually, including a friend of mine, George Dukas, who's sent me his new album, all the way from Tennessee. He's a massive country star over there. I've got a bit of Eva Cassidy coming up and the specials. But right now, here in the studio, I have Arushi with me, and of course, Ian Day, talking about the incredible journey that Ian has been on. 17 days in a coma, and how you had to learn everything all over again. So what was the next step, and how long were you in hospital for? 20-something days?
It was 40 days. 40 days in total. So I was in Heartlands and then transferred to Solihull.
Yes.
And over that time I started to become better in terms of my mental ability and do things and coordinate things. Although there's some silly things like I tried to phone taxis and abscond and escape from the hospital. And
that was your excuse.
Yeah, and obviously they used to take my phone and my wallet and my shoes away from me, so I couldn't run out. But it shows that over that time, my judgment was a bit impaired as well. So everything was a bit impaired.
You wanted to get home.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But they eventually let me out, and I was able to go home waiting the heart bypass. So I had about maybe 6 weeks, 2 months maybe at home waiting for the heart bypass operation, and that was okay. It was nice to be back, but I was sent home on the understanding that I did absolutely nothing, because I saw the cardiologist and he said your heart is in a precarious situation. And he used the word precarious 3 times in about a 15-minute conversation. So that was clear that all I could do was sleep, eat, and rest. And if I did go out, I had to use a wheelchair. But apparently I was a bit reluctant to do that and was quite stubborn.
So at this point, when you were allowed to go home, you obviously needed the operation, but you need, I suppose, to be a lot fitter and stronger in order to have the op. So that's one reason to wait.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
But also they can only let you out, or they would only let you go home, I suppose, when you fully had your memory back then, did you? And everything you could eat and
yeah. So I was functioning independently, although pretty well independently. Although getting in and out of the shower was a bit difficult. I was still a bit wobbly with my balance, and somebody would come and visit me at lunchtime to make sure I ate my lunch and prepared my lunch properly, and I've just observed that was working okay, and I took my medication and things, so that was good. Although I didn't realise what they were there for, and there were neurophysios as well that would come out, and every now and again these people would come out and they do like mental arithmetic or comprehension tests as it you might do at school, and that was just to check my brain was functioning, I could do things independently. So they would do that, but most of the time it was just resting and making sure that I was fit and strong enough for the bypass operation, which I had in July.
So that was July, that was 2017.
Yeah.
Right, so you went into, was that Heartlands Hospital?
No, that was Walsgrave, Coventry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that was one of the centres of excellence. I think it's only Walsgrave and the QE in this area that do it, and Walsgrave was the one that was suggested would be the right one to go to, so that's where I went.
So obviously that's a massive operation. Yeah. So how long were you in hospital at that point then? This is July 17.
Yeah, so that was really quick actually. So I think I was in intensive care for 3 days after coming out of the operation. High dependency 1 day, normal ward for 2 days, and then back home. So it was amazingly quick.
Yeah.
And although it was a really big operation, I think they like to get you up and out as quickly as possible. So I was back home really quickly, and then it was just recovering and recuperating. And that was a lot of that was the physios would encourage me to get up and walk. So every day I went for a little walk, and this is when the thing about walking to the next lamppost became important, because it was almost like walk to one lamppost and back again. So it was only about 20 yards, and that was enough for a day, and I was absolutely exhausted. But the next day I'd walk to the second lamppost and back again.
Yeah, bit at a time, build yourself up slowly.
Yeah, that was it, yeah.
Yeah, so that was July 2017.
Yes.
And then when did you go back to work yourself?
So I returned October 2017. That was on a part-time basis.
Okay.
And I think I was maybe too ambitious. I could have stayed off for a lot longer, but I was almost like I was really keen to prove that I could get back to my former self, and I wanted to prove it to myself that I could get back to work and I could do these things. So I went back in October on a part-time basis, and then built up the hours gradually.
Okay, and how has it left you? I mean, how are you now health-wise and physically and mentally? And
yeah, so I'm really well. I'm so lucky and happy and appreciative of where I am compared to where I could have been. I've been working with a personal trainer since the new year of 2018, and that's been absolutely fantastic. So I've done some great things. I still get incredibly fatigued and tired, and I think because of the brain injury, my brain's got to work harder than it used to have to work. So it takes me takes more effort to read and digest and make sense of information. So I do get incredibly tired. I'm still forgetful. So short-term memory can be quite difficult. So I have to work to process the information a lot more. So if I read something, I have to sort of make notes. Or if I'm reading a book for work or a novel for pleasure, what I tend to do is have a physical copy of the book and also have an audio version, so I can listen to it as well as read it with my eyes. So it goes in 2 channels really, and I can process it twice, and that enables it to fix and stay more. Otherwise, I just wouldn't be able to remember. So short-term memory is still an issue, and I have to work hard on that.
And is that something that will come back 100%, or is it just one of these things that nobody knows?
Well, I went to see the brain injury clinic people at Solihull Hospital after I came out, and they would say it would take a long time. It could take up to 2 years. Well, it's getting to 2 years now, and it's still an issue that I'm dealing with. So I just think it might be one of those things I just have to accept. But in the scale of things, it's not sort of too much to worry about. I can manage by doing other things. So
it's
not
something
important. I can live with. No, compared to what
you've been through. Yeah. Horrendous. Okay. Right, just a bit more music, and then we'll just come and have a final little chat in a while. We haven't had any rock tonight, I don't think, have we? No. Let's have some. This is a bit of Robert Palmer and Addicted to Love.
passes by. I get tongue-tied and the words don't come every time she passes by. I'm working all my courage up every time she passes by. I wanna ask her on the town every time she passes by. Here's my chance, she's coming round. Here's my chance to make her mine. This ain't infatuation, mere idle fascination. My love gets stronger every time she passes by. Look at how she smiles at me. Before too long I know she'll be the answer to my every dream come true. Now look at us, we're hand in hand. Every time she passes by, I know I'm a lucky man. Every time she passes by. This ain't infatuation, mere idle fascination. My love gets stronger every time she passes by. Every time she passes by. Every time she passes by.
Solihull Radio.
So that was George Dukas, and I love that track actually. That's called Every Time She Passes By. So Rushi, we have a request,
Yes,
I believe.
we do.
Go ahead.
Shout out to Mia. She's requested Chocolate by the 1975.
And I hadn't heard of them.
What?
I hadn't heard of them until yesterday. There was a show on about the Brits upcoming, which I was telling you about in about 5
Yes.
weeks' time. I think they're nominated.
They're nominated for the British group section of the Brits nominations. So
British group.
Yeah.
Okay. It has to be good because it's called Chocolate.
Oh, they are.
Hey now, call this babe,
Perry on Solihull Radio.
There you go, that was for Mia, and that was Chocolate by the 1975. Okay, this goes back a little bit. This is Ghost Town, and it's the Specials.
This town is coming like a ghost town. All the clubs are being closed down. This place is coming like a ghost town. Bands won't play no more. Too much fighting on the dance floor. This place is coming like a ghost town. No job to be found in this country. Can't go on no more. The people getting hungry.
Leigh Perry on Solihull Radio.
That's the Specials with Ghost Town. Can't believe Arushi's just said she'd never heard that song. That makes Ian and myself feel really old. You remember that, Ian, don't you?
First time round, yeah, it was brilliant.
First time round, all those diminished chords at the beginning. Did you like it, Arushi?
I did. It's a bit strange. I'm not sure it's really in my ballpark, really.
bit of scar going on there. Right, we have a request. This is for you, Ian, actually. Is this for you? Or have you had a request? Come on. So, okay, so tell us about this one then. This is
Sia, and it's just one of those songs that means a lot to me, and I think it's pretty relevant. And after my operation, I recovered. We used to play this in the car as a family, and we just used to sing as loud as we possibly could along to this one.
Oh, very really appropriate. Nice. I've just looked on the screen, so it's called Alive. Do you know, this is the first time I've seen her face? Because you know when she's on TV,
a bit mysterious, isn't she?
Well, she very often sings either with her back to the audience, doesn't she? I've seen her with a lampshade on her head. I've seen her with like a wig where the hair comes. What's that all about? Does anybody know?
Being incognito, I guess.
I think I've heard rumours that it was about when she just doesn't want her appearance to factor into her music, maybe, or in her in her life and as a star.
Oh, right, okay. We'll have photographs here on the screen. Right, so this is Sia and Alive.
I was born in a thunderstorm. I grew up overnight. I played alone, I played on my own. I survived. Hey, I wanted everything I never had, like the love that comes with life. I wore envy and I hated that, but I survived. I had a woman that took her to a place where all the demons go, where the wind don't change and nothing on the ground can ever grow. No hope, just lies, and you're taught to cry in your pillow. But I survive. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm I found solace in the strangest place, way in the back of my mind. I saw my life in a stranger's face, and it was mine. I had a woman, it took her to a place where all the demons go, where the wind don't change and nothing on the ground can ever grow. No hope, just lies, and you're taught to cry in your pillow. But I survive. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm alive. I'm alive. I'm alive. Took it out, but I'm still breathing. You 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 took it out, but I'm still breathing. I made every single mistake that you could ever possibly make. I took and I took and I took what you gave, but you never noticed that I was in pain. I knew what I wanted, I went out and got it. Did all the things that you said that I wouldn't. I told you that I would never be forgotten. I know in spite of you. And I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm alive. I'm still breathing. I'm still breathing. I'm alive. I'm still breathing. I'm alive. I'm still breathing. I'm alive.
Leigh Perry on Solihull Radio.
That was Sia and Alive. That Ian Day here, my guest this afternoon, requested. Actually, perfect. Yeah, fits perfectly, doesn't it? Those words.
Thank you for playing that.
That's all right. You're very welcome. So, and thank you for joining us this afternoon here at Solihull Radio. And what would you say 2 years on? Has anything changed? Has it taught you anything? How have you come through all of this?
Yeah, it's taught me a lot, and it's really a sort of an opportunity to reflect on what's important in life and what you value the most. And it's taking time to be with family and friends, and the most important things in life is time. I suddenly realised how precious time is, because it almost stopped for me. So spending time with family and friends is the most important thing. But it's also being optimistic, because when I came out of hospital, it was almost like I was optimistic. I always felt that I would recover to how I was before the cardiac arrest, and that still drives me on now, because I still haven't recovered. It's still going to be an ongoing journey, but I'm optimistic, and I think it is when you're facing an illness, and it no matter how bad it can get, there's always hope and there's always optimism that things can get better. And it's like when I used to walk to the lamppost and then walk to the next lamppost. And over a period of time, it became a reasonable length of time I could walk for. So it's almost just think about that one lamppost that you could walk to and the next lamppost. So always think optimistically and think about what else is possible, because I think anything else, so much is possible from where I came from.
Do you think positive attitude makes a big difference in recovery?
Yeah,
they
I
say
really
it
do.
does, but
yeah. I really do. Having that hope that it's either hope or stubbornness, whichever way you want to look at it. That hope that I will get better and I will be as I was before. That hope that is possible. And when I think about my friends in the sports club, they didn't give up in terms of the CPR they were giving me. They took it in turns, the three of them. They took it in turns. They didn't give up. And my wife and daughter didn't give up. They always helped and carried on doing more and more and more. And so it's up to me never to give up. And I think that's the important thing. Have that hope and have that mental positive view that it's always possible to be better than where you are. And it's just with hope and that positive view that can happen.
Fantastic. And out of 100, how far are you down the road to recovery?
I'm thinking I'm probably in the 80s, moving up to the 90s. So I'm pretty good, and I'm really pleased and proud of where I've got to.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so I'm very happy. And there's always that little bit extra that can happen, but that's 2019 for
Exactly. You're alive. That's as Sia just said. You're alive, and you're well on the road to recovery, and you look fit and well.
Thank you.
And so, best of luck.
Thank
you. Just keep doing what you're doing. And thank you so much for joining us today at Solihull Radio. And we've got a few more minutes to go. We've got another 10 minutes of the show, so I'll try and get 2 or 3 more tracks in. This is beautiful. This is, I think, probably one of the best female voices that we've ever had. This is Eva Cassidy, and this is Songbird.
For
Beautiful. That is a fabulous Eva Cassidy and Songbird. Okay, a couple of more pieces of music. Let's get them in. This reminds me of summer. It reminds me of Spain. This is Despacito featuring Justin Bieber.
Come and move that in my direction. So thankful for that, it's such a blessing, yeah. Turn every situation into heaven, yeah. Oh, you are my sunrise on the darkest day. Got me feeling some kind of way. Make me wanna savor every moment slowly, slowly. You fit me, tailor-made, love how you put it on. Got the only key, know how to turn it on. The way you nibble on my ear, the only words I wanna hear. Baby, take it slow so we can last long.
Tú eres el imán y yo soy el metal. Me voy acercando y voy armando el plan. Solo con pensarlo se acelera el pulso.
Oh yeah, ya me está gustando más de lo normal. Todos mis sentidos van pidiendo más. Esto hay que tomarlo sin ningún apuro.
Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Firmo las paredes de tu laberinto y hacer de tu cuerpo todo un manuscrito.
Sube, sube. Quiero ver bailar tu pelo, quiero ser tu ritmo. Que le enseñes a mi boca tus lugares favoritos. Favorito, baby. Déjame sobrepasar tus zonas de peligro hasta provocar tus gritos y que olvides tu apellido.
Si te pido un beso, ven dámelo. Yo sé que estás pensándolo. Llevo tiempo intentándolo. Mami, estoy dando y dándolo. Sabes que tu corazón conmigo te hace bam bam. Sabes que esa beba está buscando de mi bam bam. Me pruebas de mi boca para ver cómo te sabe. Quiero ver cuánto amor a ti te cabe. Yo no tengo prisa, yo me quiero dar el viaje. Empezamos lento, después salvaje. Pasito a pasito, suave, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito. Cuando tú me besas con esa destreza, veo que eres malicia con delicadeza. Pasito a pasito, suave, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito. Y es que esa belleza es un rompecabezas, pero para montarlo aquí tengo la pieza, oye.
Despacito, quiero respirar tu cuello despacito. Deja que te diga cosas al oído, para que te acuerdes si no estás conmigo. Despacito, quiero desnudarte a besos despacito. Firmo en las paredes de tu laberinto y hacer de tu cuerpo todo un manuscrito.
Quiero ver bailar tu pelo, quiero ser tu ritmo. Que le enseñes a mi boca tus lugares favoritos. Favorito, baby. Déjame sobrepasar tus zonas de peligro hasta provocar tus gritos y que olvides tu apellido. Despacito, this is how we do it down in Puerto Rico. I just wanna hear you screaming, ay bendito. I can go forever cuando esté contigo.
Pasito a pasito, suave, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito.
Que le enseñes a mi boca tus lugares favoritos.
Pasito a pasito, suave, suavecito. Nos vamos pegando poquito a poquito.
Hasta provocar tus gritos y que olvides tu apellido.
Despacito.
Solihull Radio.
That was Justin Bieber and Despacito. We have 4 minutes left of the show, so I'd just like to say thank you very much for joining us this afternoon on Solihull Radio. Thank you to my guest here in the studio, Ian Day, and all the very best for the future. Thank you, Arushi.
Thank you for having me, Leigh.
We will be back next week telling you what's going on round and about Solihull, Birmingham, Warwickshire area. And if anybody would like to be a guest, do you fancy being a guest, then get in touch. Just drop us an email, studio@solihullradio.com. Hope everybody has a fantastic week. Stay well, stay safe, and we're going to end up with a little bit more of madness this afternoon. And this is Baggy Trousers.
Naughty boys in nasty schools, headmasters breaking all the rules, having fun and playing fools, smashing up the woodwork tools. All the teachers in the pub, passing round a ready rub, trying not to think of when that lunchtime bell will ring again. Oh, what fun we had, but did it really turn out bad? All I learnt at school was how to bend, not break the rule. Oh, what fun we had, but at that time it seemed so bad, trying different ways to make a difference to the headmaster's had enough today. All the kids have gone away, gone to fight with next door school. Every turn that is the rule. Sits alone and bends his cane. Same old backsides again. All the small ones tell two tales, walking home and squashing snails. Oh, what fun we had, but did it really turn out bad? All I learnt at school was how to bend, not break the rule. Oh, what fun we had, but at the time it seemed so bad, trying different ways to make a difference through the days. Lots of boys, lots of smells and lots of noise, playing football in the park, kicking push bikes after dark, baggy trousers, dirty shirt, pulling hair and eating dirt. Teacher comes to break it up, back of the end with a plastic cup. Oh, what fun we had, but did it really turn out bad? All I learnt at school was how to bend, not break the rule. Oh, what fun we had, but at that time it seemed so bad, trying different ways to make a difference through the days.
Leigh Perry on Solihull Radio.